In the summer of 2020, the CFL formally announced the cancellation of the 2020 season, marking it the first year since 1919 that the Grey Cup would not be awarded. The impact of the pandemic has been huge, as the CFL does not have the same big money TV contracts that leagues such as the NBA or NFL have. The CFL still relies heavily on gate revenue, food and beverage, and merch sales, which becomes a problem when large gatherings such as sporting events are prohibited. Commissioner Randy Ambrosie said the league lost more than $20 million due to the shutdown of the 2020 CFL season, with the Government of Canada denying their $23.7 million request for an interest-free loan to cover expenses during the shutdown. The shutdown is still going on, and there's question as to if the league can even operate until vaccines are widely distributed, which could take months and potentially disrupt the 2021 season as well. In the fall of 2020, teams such as the Saskatchewan Roughriders, one of the league's highest grossing teams, began laying off business office and football operations staff. As of February 2021, no formal plans have been made for a return to play. As a management consultant to the CFL, my recommendation for a return to play would be the following. In the short term, the league needs to be reaching out to the Canadian government regarding financial support, as it's unlikely we're going to see packed stadiums even by the end of 2021. I suggest they ask for around $12 million in relief, which is around half of their lost revenue from last season, which could go towards players, staff, and teams around the league. This ask would likely take a long period of time, so in the short term, this is just about starting a conversation. In the medium term, between 4 and 8 months, the CFL should plan on the season taking place in some shape or form, and begin a plan of action for player safety regarding COVID-19. The NHL and NBA had very successful bubbles in 2020, allowing both leagues to finish their playoffs with very few contractions of the virus. Having a bubble would also reduce the financial impact of travel on each of the 9 teams. In the meantime, the CFL needs to come to a deal with the Canadian government for a low or tax-free loan to help reduce layoffs and stay afloat for a 2021 season that, even if it's played, is not likely to have a full stadium of fans. In the long term, between 8 and 16 months, the CFL should start thinking about the 2022 season and how they're going to be able to recoup the significant losses they took in the few years prior. When we eventually get over the virus and begin seeing packed stadiums again, the CFL needs to capitalize on the enthusiasm for live sports, especially as a league that relies heavily on gate revenue. I believe each CFL team should raise their ticket prices around 10% once in-game viewing opens back up. For limited seating events, look to increases of upwards of 25% on face value. While many will still stay home, even when vaccines roll out to the masses, there's going to be an incredible amount of enthusiasm for live sports, even smaller market games like the CFL. I believe this significant increase in demand will allow the CFL to generate more revenue than any year prior. This increase in gate revenue, as well as growth in both food and beverage, as well as apparel sales, should push top-line revenues to all-time highs and begin to recoup some of the losses from the 2020 and 2021 seasons.